All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you're live here with us on Zoom, welcome, welcome. If you're watching the recording, the replay on YouTube, welcome, welcome. Please do subscribe so you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming. It is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring to you these amazing speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their processes, activations, healing, clearings, readings, etc., so that we can all thrive, so that we can all awaken to happiness now. And so today, my dear friend Kristen Numen is back with us, and we're going to be talking about ego integration. And so, some of what we're going to talk about is how this helps you to live your heaven on earth. For some of us who might be going through, dark night of the soul and stuff like that, yeah, we need this. We need to know about this, right? Um, a deep self transformation with profound growth, amazing connection with spirit, expansion of spiritual gifts. Also, Kristen will be facilitating a live healing clearing activation on the call. And if there's time, she'll be also doing some taking your live caller questions. And so, for those of you who may not know Kristen, she's been with us many times and we love having her. She's amazing and wonderful. She is known for being a multifaceted channel and healer using all of her psychic senses. She brings forward whatever is in your highest good at the time of the session. And some of her abilities include speaking with your spiritual team to assist in living your best life, mediumship, Kundalini Reiki, master and teacher, Rahani celestial healer, spiritual activator and teacher. Kristen has a passion for healing others on multiple levels. And with the ability to scan a person and animal's energetic field, Kristen can bring forward information to assist on the physical, emotional, mental, energetic, and spiritual levels. And Kristen's goal is to give you the tools as directed by your spiritual team and loved ones to live your best life and experience joy and health on a new level. So, everyone, please join me in welcoming Kristen back to the show. Kristen, welcome.
Hello, thank you. I'm so happy to be back. Hello, everybody.
So glad you're here. So this is going to be a wonderful conversation. I know, and I already know that the activation healing process you're going to be doing is going to be really helpful and transformational for all of us as well. So I know you wanted to share something as we.
I do. Let's see if I can get this so you can see it. Can you see my little friend, this big owl that just swooped down in my garden at 12:05 in the afternoon today? I was out with the dogs. Fortunately, my dogs are all big, so no one got towed away. But I went outside, was walking around in the garden with the dogs, went out, and I heard the feathers and I heard the whoosh, and I assumed it was a hawk because that's typically what I would see. Looked over, and that baby was sitting looking straight at me. So I was having a conversation and was watching the eyes blink, and then like one eye blink. They're just cute and profoundly amazing, especially talking about ego integration, and to have that sign in the middle of the day, it was
Yeah,
amazing.
beautiful. I love it. That is definitely a sign. And we all know owls are a symbol or a totem of wisdom. Um, and for
Mhm.
me, I feel like it's deep wisdom, and it's not just you know surface level. It's like it's deep, right? And it's ancient. So because we're talking about ego integration, that is a big heavy duty topic, and with that comes a lot of questions, a lot of myths. Myths is not the right word, but misconceptions as well, right? I think.
Mhm. Yes.
So what do you mean when you talk about ego integration? What does that mean to you?
Ego integration is a fancy way of saying shadow work. And integrating, it's a fancy way of saying shadow work. But it is the integration of the dark and the light. So I wrote a whole bunch of stuff down because I can go off in so many different directions on all of these topics. And of course, I love the conversation with all of you and with Alara. So we'll go wherever spirit asks us to flow. But to start this conversation, I ask you to do something for me. If we can all just close our eyes for a moment and just take 3 mindfully deep breaths. When you breathe in, you're breathing in life force, prana, light. When you're breathing out, breathe out the stuff, anything lower vibrational. Take 3 good breaths. No sucking in that belly. Let it go and breathe in those good life force energy breaths through your being. And when you've done that, go ahead and open your eyes. So when I teach classes and sessions, I always ask you to discern and invite you to discern what resonates with you, but it is just as important in your learning, in your growth and your expansion on this journey of life, of spirituality, to know what does not resonate with you. So take what does, leave what doesn't, and allow your guides to come forward. And a lot of times when I'm listening to someone and something doesn't resonate with me, my guides will come in and tell me what does. This is how you do it. This is Kristen's truths. So I always like to put that out there. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and bring in your guides to show you what is a resonant frequency for you. Okay, and with that, so ego integration, it's about healing, balancing, and uniting it with the higher aspects of the self. This is integrating this beautiful infinity balance. And I'm going to jump ahead here, mind, body, spirit. Mind, body, spirit. So shadow and light unification. Along the lines of what ego integration is, again, means bringing awareness, compassion, acceptance to all aspects of the ego self, rather than suppressing or denying them. When the shadow is acknowledged, because trust me, to know me before my spiritual journey in 2016, and especially now at this point, I had a near-death experience the end of 2023, and my most profound growth came after that happened. So being able to bring awareness to the aspects of the ego self that we want to run from, rather than suppressing or denying them, when the shadow is acknowledged, the ego no longer needs to cling to masks or defenses. It softens, becoming more transparent. This is a daily life practice. This isn't, oh, this is what you need to do and you're good, right? This is something that we need to be mindful about when we are on a health journey. We can fall back, we can be gung-ho, right? And get in there and exercise and we're eating right. But then maybe we start getting bored of the food. And then it's like, oh, I really am not feeling it today. And I'm not feeling it today either. It's a mindful practice that we go through each and every day. So please give yourself grace, because there are days that we are just feeling wonderful and we got this. And then other days, not so much. And that is okay, because everything is a tool and everything is teaching us. And it's learning our patterns as well. I needed to learn Kristen's patterns. So, okay.
So just
last,
as you're gathering stuff together, your internet keeps cutting out a little bit. Your Wi-Fi keeps cutting out.
That's interesting. Nope, Wi-Fi is good over here. And I don't see it on my end. That's interesting.
Just that I would mention that. So for those of you who have your videos on, if you want to turn your video off, that always helps. With the bandwidth, right? Because, unless you're speaking to Kristen, you don't need to have your video on. If you're speaking to her, then sometimes it is helpful. But if you want to turn off your video, that can sometimes help with the bandwidth. Okay. Mine is fine. Thank God, but you never know, right? As soon as I say that, it's like, oh my goodness, what if something happens to, upstairs, and it's like, so we'll see. But anyways, keep where were you? What were you going to say?
So talking about deep diving into the uncomfortable. So talking about the shadow self, again, to know me prior to this journey, it's difficult to dive into those lower vibrational emotions, especially the traumas, the sadness, the grief, anger, and jealousy and frustration have been like my three that I just crawl in and want to run from. And I've had to face that and learn. And it's a process. And we'll go through all of that because these are helpful tools. And a lot of this is speaking to the self. It's speaking to yourself, to your spiritual team, to yourself, because again, mind, body, spirit, speaking to each aspect of the self. The more we recognize our patterns and behaviors, no shame, no judgment. So we're all here on different missions, and many here to navigate these shadows that are on different levels within our healing. Some are the surface stuff, right? So my journey has been bullying. That's been a big thing that I have been bullied in my lifetime. So that was like a big surface level thing. And then underneath that, it was people pleasing and perfectionism, like all of these other things that are embedded within it that come up in these layers as you're going through this process. And remember too, yes, we're healing things in this lifetime, past and present, but there are alternate lifetimes that we're meant to heal too. Also ancestral. A lot of that has come up for me lately within the past, I'll say year, a lot of ancestral. Oh my gosh, I know this is from my mom's line in the lineage ancestry, and I can pull that forward and look at it and see it for what it is, give it love, give myself grace, and move forward in that. But how? How do we even do it? How do we move forward in this? Again, broken record. To know me, if there was a definition of someone that was really in the egoic mind, I swear there would be a picture of me in the dictionary for it, because I was really the poster child of with everything. So I promise you, ask my mom. She's not on right now because I had errands to run today, and she was hoping to be on, but maybe it's a good thing she's not here, so the peanut gallery can't contribute. But truly, this has been life-changing for me. Profound work when you get in the guts of this. And if you're looking for spiritual growth, yes, you can develop your spiritual gifts, but you want to really develop your gifts so they become superpowers. So you're living your heaven on earth. Do this work. You will be mind blown at the depths. Now I'm going to start crying at the depths and the amazingness of yourself, because you don't need me. You have the wisdom within you to do whatever you need to do in this life. And your inner compass will take you exactly where you need to go. Trust that. Okay, how do we do this? So I had to go within. I needed to sit with my thoughts. You know, a lot of times people talk about the monkey mind. That's what the typical phrase is. Mine are the screaming goats. If you haven't seen screaming goats, look it up on YouTube. They're adorable. They scream with their little tongues open, and that's what's in my head. I'm telling you, screaming goats in my mind. So I always used to think I really stunk at meditation, because when you sit there and you are in the silence, because there's many different ways to practice meditations. I actually call them mindfultations now, because you can fold the laundry and meditate in total awareness of the present moment with all of your senses. And that's also how spirit comes through. So when you're driving home and you don't remember the drive home, that's not mindfulness. You're in that program and you're just there and you're, oh my gosh, how did I get home? How did I get home safe when I don't even remember? But when you practice mindfulness, which is something I've realized that I'm really all about, and my guides will actually have me go in circles until I see something. Because a couple of days ago, I was not mindful and I went outside. I have this beautiful angel that's so I have a stone here. I'll use this as an example. My angel, I have a huge angel that sits in the corner of my patio. facing inward towards us at an angle. And I went outside a couple of days ago. My puppy Olive, who will be almost 2 and she will forever be a puppy, was just refusing to pee. You know, dogs, I know you have to pee. Stop holding it. Get out there and go potty. So trying to get her to go out there, and I was getting frustrated, and I could feel the guides come in because I could feel it. I could feel the energy and the frequency shift. So I just started taking deep breaths up. Kristen's starting to get frustrated. What is it that I need to know about this? So when I went out there, I heard, look, the angel was like this, turned completely around. She is not concrete. But if she were to fall, I mean, you could push her and she'll fall. So if something knocks her with enough force, she will just fall. So for her to be like this and then to turn, and my husband even said, oh, did you see the angel out there completely turned around, untouched? I'm like, yes, I did. So if Olive did not send me on a goose chase to have her go potty, I wouldn't have noticed. And the guides reminded me mindfulness, and I looked and I wouldn't have noticed that. So mindfulness is very important on this journey because you're not just on autopilot. It's not just I'm getting angry at this, I'm getting frustrated at that. I'm aware. I'm aware that I'm frustrated. Give yourself grace for that and celebrate, okay, I have an awareness of this. I don't like being in this feeling. How do I fix it? Why? Why am I like this? Why am I feeling this way? Is it mine or is it people that I'm around? So just all these different things to think about. Trusting your gut. So something that I didn't do. Tell me if you do this. Raise your hand if you do, or put it in the chat. I have a feeling I'm being used by this person, or this person is making remarks that I don't like, and I wound up asking my husband, oh, it's just in your mind. She's not doing that. And I'm like, okay, she's not doing that. I would do that all the time. This isn't sitting right with me. I don't feel like this is right. It's especially about other people. I don't know if this person really is my friend. They don't really feel authentic. No, that's got to be in my head. Ray, my husband, what do you think about this? Oh, she loves you. It's just in your head. Thank you, Pat. So this process taught me to trust my gut. You have the head, the heart, and the gut. The head is the ego. And when you're in there, and if you do a practice right now saying, okay, I need to pick up more eggs, I need to vacuum because there's some major dust bunnies out there. Okay, I need to mow the lawn. What does that feel like? You're in your ego mind, right? Drop to your heart space by placing your hands on your heart space. What do I need to know? Are you here, guides? Are my loved ones here? And you start asking questions and you notice there's a shift and there's a softness. And there's normally not a lot of words. Short, sweet, quiet, calm, sovereign. And then there's the gut. Something's wrong with the car. And then the battery dies. Let's go out over here. Something's telling me we shouldn't go there. Let's go over here. My gut. I wasn't listening. I wasn't trusting myself. So all of this has something to do with egoic integration with the shadow. The more you understand where you're coming from and you're trusting yourself, the more you're going to trust things that are coming up and emotions that are coming up, because emotions are energy in motion. They're not bad. We just want to look at them. Mind, body, spirit. Your mind, your shadow aspect is letting you know something wants to be looked at, loved, realized, released. Sometimes there's more depths to it and we really have to sit in that. But trusting my gut was a very big thing in my life. Realizing people that I thought were for my highest good really were not. Or situations. or different things. That's gold. Trust that. Practice that. What does my gut tell me? If we allow ourselves to digest, because think of our chakras and the energy centers. What does that stomach do? It digests. It also helps us digest energy. Digest the energy in your being, especially you clairsentients, you feelers, and empaths of emotions. You really feel it here. Allow yourself to digest, bring that situation in, digest it in your being, and see, is it in my highest good? Does it light you up and feel soft? Or does it sit in your gut like, no, something doesn't seem right? So, boundaries. Let's give that a moment. Boundaries. That's like a big, huge thing. Standing on my own 2 feet. I had to learn. Have you ever been told, stop being upset? You're too sensitive. Relax. Oh, you want to get me going? Just say, relax. The other one I was told is, you're upset over nothing. And this is someone close to me. Tina, yes, yes, yes. So this was a big, fat, huge, something pulled a cork out of my brain and I could see clearly. That's this moment with spirit when this happens. And in that moment, because here's a tip, in the morning as I'm showering and I call in my guides, I always call in God, Gaia, my higher self, beings of light that are with me in this moment. Please have me in this place of sovereignty, be in my heart space so I realize what's meant for me and what's not. Work through me so I'm more mindful. And for this, I thank you. The other thing I do too is an affirmation before bed. Thank you for solving my issue. You don't have to say what it is. They know what it is. Thank you for solving my issue. Say it 3 times from the heart space, thanking. So when this happened at one point last year with the calm down, relax, you're getting upset over nothing, I stopped in a moment. And for some reason, I smile because it brings a lightness to my being. So I might look like the Joker in the moment, which can seem scary if I'm not in the best mood. But I smiled with a genuine smile. And I just said, no one has the right to tell us how we're supposed to feel. This is how I'm feeling, and I'm going to work on that right now. So if my husband's feeling a certain way, if my daughter's feeling a certain way, okay, what is it? What are you feeling right now? Okay, let's sit in this, let's talk about it, that type of thing. But that was huge for me, being in my sovereignty and being able to stand up for myself, because Kristen did not. So boundaries. The other thing with boundaries as well, I'm going to include no lying, not even the little white lies. No white lies. It's just pure authentic self, and no overspeaking. I don't need to explain why I can't or I don't want to. Would you love to go? Would you like to go out? Can you help me with this? I would love to, but I can't right now. Maybe at some point in the future I can. Now, Kristen, my ego is going, tell him more, tell him more. And my hearts and my guides are saying, you're good. So you know how they show in the cartoons the devil and the angel? It's your ego and your spirit. That's how I see it. It's ego and spirit. This is about the integration, ego integration. We're integrating both of these aspects together. So I can hear and understand Kristen's egoic pattern of, I need to over explain. I need to tell them why I can't, which will take like 20 minutes. you know how that goes. I'm going to be clear, concise, have those boundaries, and that it's okay. Here's another one. You're going to be very shocked, and it's probably something you've never heard about before. I need a little sign that says sarcasm here, but it's self-care. Huge. What are your patterns? You cannot see the forest through the trees. When I'm trying to work through emotions and I'm not understanding it, I don't know where to go from here. What do I do? My guides say redirect. Redirect the ego. Do something else. It's not ignoring the problem. It's giving yourself grace. It's allowing yourself to breathe so you can allow spirit to come in. You know, when you're trying to work through something or you have a project to do, and it's in the moment you walk away and you do something else and you're joking about something and you're like, oh my gosh, that's it. It's not when you're sitting there going, okay, I've been doing this for 5 hours. What am I supposed to do? That's typically not when you're going to get it. And if you do, man, you're amazing. You're amazing anyway. So sometimes I will sit and binge watch like Mini Rennie. I'm a big fan of Joanna Gaines. Or Blacklist, talk about opposites. I normally don't like shows like that, but man, Blacklist, good stuff. And that's just what I'm doing. And I don't want to move. And the dogs are on me and I'm just in heaven and we're good. Sometimes it's getting a pedicure. Sometimes it's spiritual practices. Allow your inner compass to let you know what it is you're supposed to do. What do I do? There was one time where I'm like, okay, I gotta lay down. I'm not feeling so wonderful. And all of a sudden in my mind, I heard and felt, go in the pool. And I'm like, oh, my body is just exhausted. There's just no way I can get changed and go in the pool. That's just a lot of energy. And I just heard, go in the pool, not forceful, go in the pool. And it's like a kid to a parent is my relationship sometimes with my guides. And I'm like, fine, I'll listen. I went in the pool and let me tell you the epiphanies, the serene feeling, the calmness that came over me in that moment was like, okay, you were right. It's never forceful, but allow your inner compass to guide you. Your gut will tell you what you need to eat. That type of thing as well. I promise all of these together really do help in the shadow unification because you're learning your patterns, the emotions that pattern and consistently come up. You're learning how you are interpreting spirit and working with spirit as well on this journey. So in doing that, you're able to more clearly hear the messages. Okay. How does it help you live your heaven on earth? Because you recognize your patterns. You speak to your guides to help you navigate. No, it doesn't mean perfection. This is not about perfection. This is never about perfection. Because if it was, we wouldn't be here on this earth plane with all of this mess. We're a beautiful mess, and it's time to embrace it in all aspects of that. Things can upset you, frustrate you, all of those things, but the difference is knowing how to navigate it. Is it always smooth sailing? Sometimes it's smooth, and I'm like, I did good. And then I trip over something, and then I'm brought right back down. I think spirit does that just to like knock me down a couple notches sometimes. But a lot of times, it's the mess of it. And it gets easier as you go. Trust me, from 2016 to now, big fat hairy difference. So this is a big one. Again, mind, body, spirit, which is the trifecta. This is a symbiotic relationship. in definition, it's organisms living in close physical association, symbiotic relationship. In this case, mind, body, spirit. There's no, I'm going to tap into spirit and I'm Kristen and this is my body. And it's all there all the time. Because when I'm in fear and I'm freaking out, my guides will come in and give me messages. When I'm happy and joyful and being silly and doing whatever, they're coming in and giving me messages. When I'm sitting there and I intend to connect for certain reasons and purposes, they're coming in to give me messages. There's no separation between us and spirit. That's heaven on earth. That's this beautiful symbiotic relationship with your mind, body, spirit. Your body hurts. Body, what is it that you need? How can I soothe you? Go right to that heart space, ask the question, and listen. It might be simple, like, your breathing is too shallow. Wow, is that why this hurts? Or drink more water, or something a bit more. But trusting that. Not fighting the emotions. So this is a big thing. And I'm asking my guides a question real quick. Okay, thank you. So I teach by my authenticity, by life experiences. So you understand. It's not always easy and it can be uncomfortable, but I find comfort now in the discomfort. And I share that because let's do a weird analogy of this. There's a lot of violent shows and stuff on, and it's just what's normal now, right? We're normalizing these emotions in a sense of, okay, these emotions are coming up. Let's dive into it. When we first start doing that, it can be very uncomfortable. So for example, let's talk about jealousy. I hate that word. It makes my skin crawl because I am one to uplift others. I'm going to refer to people that do the same as me because I feel a person would be better with them. Like that type of feeling because my gut is telling me so. That type of stuff. So I had an instance, I don't even know how long ago. It was last year. And I believe I had a dark night of the soul. That's fun. And then after that, I had this feeling. I saw this person is on social media, and I know this person really wanted to be out there more. And I was trying the best way I could to help, type of thing. And then this individual, I wound up scrolling through social media and saw this person on different things and read a bit about it. And I was talking to my husband. This was at night. I know he was so tired. He was so kind to listen to me. And I'm like, my skin is just crawling. I can't believe she was on this and then did this. I don't understand. I said, what is going on with me? My skin is crawling. And my husband goes, it sounds like you're jealous. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, yeah, that's kind of what I feel. I just needed that extra validation. I'm like, okay, I got to work through this. And my husband was so sweet and said, what could I do? I said, you just go to sleep. I'm going to work through this because the only way out is through. And I needed to feel it. I couldn't run away from it. There was no going anywhere else. What I wanted to do was just pick up my phone and just scroll, right? Not a good idea at 10 o'clock at night. And I'm an early bird. I go to bed at like 8 or 9 o'clock. So I do get up early. But I couldn't run away from that feeling. So the very next day, always remember, don't fight, flow. Flow with the emotions. Sometimes we have to sit in it, but ask, how do I soothe so I can go to sleep? Guys, can you please help me sleep? And then I wound up, I don't even remember what I started thinking about, and I was able to just fall asleep. And my puppy came over, and when she sits, you know, some dogs just sit nicely. I don't know if Neo does this, Alara, but Olive, my puppy, she plops all of, I mean, her whole entire being just plops. And she's 56 pounds of just pure plop. like on my chest in the middle of the night. So after I was gasping for air for a minute, I was just in overwhelming love and peace. Just having her there, and she normally will plop her head back and you see her little tooth sticking out, and she's just so cute, and it was just a beautiful moment. Like she knew what I needed in that moment in time, and I was able to fall asleep. So fast forward to the next day, because I asked my guides for help. It's important to understand that these heavy emotions, the trauma, the jealousy, the anger, the frustration, even the grief, if you don't immediately know what it's linked to, is the armor. That's the armor. Now we got to take off the armor. It's not one solid piece. It comes off in layers. So picture it like medieval times with all the getup that they put on. That kind of armor. That's what I'm talking about. So the guide said, they swooped in and they full on said to me, the underlying reason that you feel upset is because you feel that the person is not authentic and genuine in what they're coming across. This person was putting fear out there in the way that they were channeling. You need to look out for this in the collective consciousness and that kind of stuff. And it was, oh, okay. And then I had to understand and come to terms with the fact that Kristen has control over Kristen. And we don't have control over anyone else. Now I'm going to cry because this was powerful. I didn't like the emotion. I'm not that person. And it scared me. And I just was like sick to my stomach about myself. But we have these emotions. We get jealous, we get angry. So for some reason it's more acceptable. I guess in my ego mind, the way I think of it is, okay, there's trauma and grief and all of that, but jealousy. No, that kind of thing. So I really had to sit with that. And I was able to put it disguised itself under the armor of jealousy. And when I was able to just allow, I wasn't forcing it. I was going about my day. I was doing self-care, honestly, that day. Just doing different things. And the guides came in and full on told me what it was. And I was able to release it. And I see this person all the time on social media. Don't get that emotion anymore. It's this, look at her go, that type of thing. It shifted to its core. You can't lie to yourself or to the guides. They know what's going on inside. We might as well face it instead of being like, no, I'm not that way. I was full on jealous. And it was an uncomfortable, gross feeling to me. But seeing the underlying layers made me understand more that how many times do people beat themselves up for these big, fat, heavy emotions when it's something underneath that just wants to be looked at, where it can be allowed to just go and be transmuted and transformed. Might sound weird, but isn't that heaven on earth? To be able to have emotions, we're always going to have emotions, and being able to navigate them, being able to look at them, what the ego is bringing up, what these shadows are bringing up. And we can a lot of times feel them in certain areas of the body as well. It comes up in so many different ways. Mine are emotions. A lot of mine are emotions. And I can ask, where is this emotion being held in my body? And then I will feel it. But others feel it there and then have to ask, what is this energy here trying to tell me? Does that make sense? So we all function as these beautiful spiritual human beings in different ways. Okay? All right. Deep self-transformation and profound growth. I want to pause for a moment. Alara, you've been quiet. It's freaking me out a little.
I'm just reflecting on, some of my emotions that I have been experiencing the past couple of weeks. As some of you know, I'm going through a dark night of the soul for about a month now, but still working through some of the stuff and looking at the emotions. Like you said, it's key, it's important. But I think what's really um, is about that asking yourself questions, right? What is this? What can I do with this? Working with your team, I think, is also important. And the non-judgment is key. I know I've been judging myself for some of my emotions. There's no question. But
Yeah.
but I think that it's really these are great reminders for all of us to have more compassion. So, for me, having compassion for others is so easy, but having compassion for myself is not as easy. So working on that.
Yes. And going to the dark night of the soul, I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm sorry you're going through that, but I'm going to back that up with what a beautiful journey this is going through that, because on the other side of that, profound growth and amazingness and stepping more into your sovereignty. Is this your first dark night of the soul? No.
Oh no.
I had one. Okay, so my journey since 2016, I had like little dips, and I'm like, oh, those are dark nights of the soul. No, those were like little dips of shadow work, is what I had. It was like I was touching my toe in, and I'm like, I had a dark night of the soul. No, last year, end of the year, dark night of the soul, where I had to clear my schedule like the end of the year. And actually, I think it was basically already cleared because I take that gap for holidays and everything because I'm a crazy decorator for those holidays. And I was just in this pit and I didn't know where to go with myself. And for those, if you've been in a dark night of the soul, kind of be like, hi. If you've been in it a couple of times, write down like a number of times. It's a pit is the only way that I can say it.
Mhm.
And it is, for me, it was radio silence from my guides. I could channel for everybody else, but I would get like a squat when it came to me. And it's like, why? I didn't know what was going on. The one thing they would say when I said, I need to get a reading from someone because my ego was panicking. I need to I went outward, and the guides went, no, go within. That is the
Mhm.
one thing they said. I could take it or leave it because we always have free will. So I had to go within, but I kept it to myself for, I think it was a month and a half that I was in the dark night of the soul. And I finally said something to my husband, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I think this is called the dark night of the soul. I'm like, no, I know it is. And it was a very Ross and Rachel moment for those that love Friends, because I said, I don't know how to get over this. And my husband goes, how can I help you get under it? And it was really cute. And he's like, well, let me take you. He took me to a plant nursery, and he's the best because I love antiques and plant nurseries, and that is not his jam. And he will go with me and be like, look at this flower, or look at this. And he's really sweet. So he took me to a Mexican restaurant because tacos all day, every day. Yes, please. I love Mexican food. And we went to the plant nursery, and it was like, yes. And my husband goes, are you better? And I went, no, I'm not better. And then he was frustrated because he couldn't fix me. So I had to say, don't, I know you're frustrated. I'm frustrated too. I need to figure this out on my own. It's definitely a spiritual thing. I love you. Thank you for doing all this for me. It is not a reflection of you or anything. It is all about me. It really is. It's not you, it's me. And in this case, it's very true. So, what I wound up doing one morning is I sat there. I don't journal because when I channel, I can't write fast enough and then I can't read when I'm writing. So I type it out. Thank you, computer class. I type it out. I use those home keys. I can close my eyes and just type, type, type. And I just wrote out my feelings and the rawness. I was mad. I was annoyed. I was mad at the guides. I was mad at everything. And then I was talking to my best friend. And she said something, and the guides are like, tell her. So I wound up saying something. She goes, Kristen, you've been going through this and you didn't tell me? What do you think this relationship is? We're sisters. I'm here for you. You're here for me. That is what pulled me out of the dark night of the soul. Because I was keeping it to myself. That was a big lesson. I'm going beyond soul family and saying heart family. It's a heart family that we can lean on. And you're not alone in this. And I was treating it like I was putting it all on me. And as soon as I started talking with her, and I actually read to her what I wrote, and she is that type of heart family where I can spill my guts and she loves me. And every time I do something stupid or silly, I'm like, remember, you love me. No backseas, you love me. But she helped me. It was that love, that support, that listening. And I am telling you, it was like someone pulled me out of a well, and it was constant spirit communication all the time. So trust your inner compass. If you're going through the dark night of the soul, what do I need? Body, what do you need? Because if your body feels tired, you're mentally tired, what do I need? Guides, just show me, because you will. And it could be in the most crazy place. You need to go out, have Mexican food with friends, because sometimes you just need that camaraderie, that laughing, that joy, that really good food that's really not good for you. But sometimes you need that. And then you can just feel more lifted and clear. So trust all aspects of yourself, that your inner compass is going to take you exactly where you need to go. It doesn't feel good. I've only had one. I'm not an expert, but I know what I know, and I'll channel it. It didn't feel good, but it was profound on the other side of it. And all I needed to do in that moment was talk to my friend and read her the really terrible things that I wrote down when I was just spilling it, and I was just so upset and angry. And that's not Kristen. That's not me. That's not the essence of me. And your guides don't abandon you, because I was like, you abandoned me, you left me. They don't. They're there. They just need for you to go within. So a few years earlier, I don't know if I talked about it here, but I had an instance where I'm laying in bed, and this hooded man, very tall, hooded man with a long beard, leaned forward and looked at me, and he went like this, and he penetrated my third eye. And as soon as he got like this far from my forehead, it went digital. And something switched, because I would see every single night beings around my bed. I wasn't seeing every night. It was other gifts that were coming forward. I would still see. I would see in sessions, but it changed. So what did I say? Why did you take it away from me? Turns out this hooded man was a druid. And when I said, what's a druid? He was the druid, as in Merlin. I saw Merlin with my physical eyes standing in my room. Yes, he has a beard. It was kind of like a dingy looking hood thing too, cloak, it wasn't nice and clean, but just different things I noticed. But when I was actually sitting outside with my computer and typing things out, when I had this big epiphany and came out of the dark night of the soul and talking with my friend, and you know who showed up after 2 long years? Merlin. He said, I didn't turn you off. I turned on your inner sight. It took me 2 years to get that message. So if you're impatient, you're in for a fun ride on the spiritual journey because it doesn't happen quick. It can happen faster the more we relinquish control. It happens when it happens, which I have in here because now I'm jumping all over the place. I love how I say I'm going to write things down and follow it, and then I don't. But that's okay, because that's flow, right? So this next part is deep self-transformation with profound growth. Dark night of the soul, big part of it. Huge. Like I said, I thought I went through dark night of the soul. No. No, I was just touching my toe in there. So for those, again, that are going through it now and who have had it multiple times, I give you love, I hold space, and give yourself grace, because there is profound amazingness on the other side, which I know you know, but just in case. So not only did I go through a dark night of the soul last year, so talking about deep self-transformation and profound growth, when you're really working with this egoic integration and looking at the patterns and looking at the emotions. What is this emotion telling? So I was almost like addicted to it in a sense. Okay, what is this emotion telling me? What is this emotion telling me? And it's like, okay, I stubbed my toe. I don't need to elaborate that. I'm a klutz. I stubbed my toe. We can move on. So it's discernment, that type of thing. But I welcome it with open arms. It's a friend. It's a friend teaching you and showing you. It's not the teacher that's your cheerleader in the pep talk. It's the one that's going to trip you, trip you up. Those are the best teachers, because it really helped me stand on my own 2 feet. So after the dark night of the soul, I had a full-blown Kundalini awakening. It took 6-7 years for my Kundalini to awaken, where did it fully awaken? I think, no. If you don't know, then it hasn't. You'll know when it has. We'll put it that way. A magenta flame activation, which is the divine feminine, amongst other things that happened. There are seasons, an ebb and flow. There are seasons throughout the month. It correlates with your astrological chart. I am not a certified astrologer, but what I am is a channel. And my guides will say things to me where I will look it up in my chart and realize that's what it is that they're telling me. All of these different things. With deep self-transformation and profound growth, you become the tree, deeply rooted. We want to see the pretty flowers. We want to connect with guys. We want to see, hear, feel, know all of these amazing things, right? We want the showy flowers. I like to garden, so we're going with the garden analogy. But those beautiful trees, those beautiful old trees full of wisdom, those roots go deep. And they web out, and they're interconnected, and they speak to one another, to the earth, to everything, this life force energy. The dark night of the soul, the process of the ego integration, the messiness of it, flow. Don't fight it, because your roots are going down. You don't know what you know until you need to know it. You don't realize your growth until you're faced with something to see it. Example, I was on a few podcasts because of my NDE. And I did read some of the comments, and I would, comment on them. Very sweet, very kind, very loving. And all of a sudden I was chatting with my friend, and we do voice messages back and forth. And you know how you can scroll down on your phone and see all of your notifications and everything on there? Well, I scrolled down to see what the notification was, because I was waiting for an email, because my daughter is a teacher now. She's a music teacher, got her first job. And I was ordering things on Amazon for her. So I scrolled down to see when that was coming, because I couldn't wait stuff for her classroom. So when I scrolled down, all of a sudden it brought me to the podcast. I'm like, why did it, what? And it brought up a comment. And this is the comment I saw. My gut is telling me that her actions and she's being dishonest. No one can have this many experiences. That's what the person said. So, I canceled out of that, went into Amazon, looked at that stuff, and then I sat for a moment and I'm like, why did I see that? Why was that necessary? So I said, guides, why would I need to see that? And they asked me a question. How do you feel? I don't know. How do I feel? And they said, that's why. Do you understand? I didn't get upset. Old Kristen would have been sucking her thumb, sitting and rocking in bed. I kid you not, I would have been. Why doesn't that person like me? Why wasn't I well received? I'm okay with not being everyone's cup of tea because we can't be. And I didn't know my growth through this journey until I saw that message. So I give love and gratitude to that person for teaching me. It's okay. They're at a different frequency. They don't understand. They're not in my shoes. This journey and ego integration, the deeply rootedness in your being, this sovereignty, it is no longer looking for outward validation. The validation I need is here. Because the other thing that happened was I talked to a mentor. I wound up messaging her because I had a dream about her. And I said, I had a dream about you. Please do tell. So we were, voice chatting back and forth to one another. And I didn't say a couple of things. I saw her and a friend doing breath work, and then there was something else they were doing, and I just didn't say them. And then she wound up saying, oh, yeah, so and I are going to go do a breath work retreat. And I was like, that's amazing. Let me know how it goes. And after we were done with the conversation, I was like, guys, why didn't I tell her that? That's a cool validation. And they said, because you no longer need that validation. It's important in a session. Completely. Yes. Validating evidence. But in a conversation, I didn't need that validation, that proof, especially because it was a mentor, like proving I could do what I do type of thing, if that makes sense. So I was like, okay. And it didn't bother me that I didn't say it. Does that make sense? You don't know your growth until you're faced with situations to show you how much you have grown or what else needs to be worked on. And you know what? That's okay because you realize it's a lesson and you can reflect back upon it. And man, think of this journey as a slingshot. If I've said this before on here, the guide said the spiritual journey, this is such a slingshot moment. What does a slingshot do? You have to pull it back. You have to go backwards because sometimes we feel, I took 100 steps forward. Oh my gosh, life is great. And then we go like 1,000 steps backwards, dark night of the soul, all this other stuff going on. And we're like, what in God's name is going on here? I want to cry. You just feel like you're in the gutter. Slingshot moment. What is back here that you need to reflect upon, look at, and see? And then what happens? The release. And you're forward. Like 5,000 forward. Because you can have such profound exponential growth overnight on this journey. You can feel in a lull. Remember, there are seasons. Write them down, type it out. What are my patterns? Mindfultations, mindfulness. Okay, Kristen's getting upset about this, taking a mental note. Okay, this is a thing. Kristen gets upset because this happens, that kind of thing. All right, this is happening. She's freaking out. It's okay. Had a thing with my dog, Penny. Penny is 13 years old. She has laryngeal paralysis, and it can cause the flap in her throat to block her airway. And it also cause weakness in the hind legs. There's no cure for it. So the end of May, because my daughter graduated college the beginning of May, the end of May-ish, one morning, Penny was on the couch and she was gasping and was in total panic and she couldn't walk. She couldn't move. I was totally calm. Again, that is not Kristen basket case. So I was totally calm, got my husband, assessed her. You stay with her. I'm going to go change. He went, and I drove because I get sick when I'm in the back seat, and I didn't want her by herself, and we couldn't get her in the front seat because she's a beefy little gal. So my penny girl. So we took her to emergency, and I was very calm. And as soon as I got there and she was in care and they were giving her everything, that's when I lost it. But also in that moment, after I lost it and I allowed myself to cry, I was sitting on the floor and I had this internal conversation with her. And I knew that if it was her time, I honor that because I know we choose when we come in and we choose when we leave. I promise this has something to do with the whole thing. But I was at peace. I could feel my ego freaking out. I could feel that pattern of being human. But I felt this more because I work on myself so much. This is louder. The more you work on it, the louder your spirit brain, your heart gets. I was really proud of how I navigated that. It's okay that I cried and I lost it, but then I was just so calm and I honored whatever time it was for my girl who's happy and sitting out barking at whatever out front in this moment right now, walking and trotting around. We needed to give her some medications and all that kind of stuff, and she has been fabulous. This whole journey, all of it, this ego integration, not only helps you live, it helps you live your heaven on earth because you understand your patterns. You understand and feel comfort in the discomfort of looking in these deeply embedded emotions that a lot of us want to run away from. And it allows you to navigate and flow with life. All these different things that happened to my penny girl, all these different things. And it allowed me to be so sovereign in my being that even if it's something hard to hear, those that are parents, having to say something that they're not going to want to hear because they have blinders on and they're very focused on them and they don't see the bigger picture. And I'm able to calmly say, this is not about you. This is actually about him and being supportive for him. The whole situation. And she didn't like that comment and she walked away. And I was okay with that because it was my job to plant that seed and bring that to the surface. And she can mull that over, right? To see what she needs to do with all of that. But I was always afraid of rocking the boat. I wanted to keep the peace. Ego integration and shadow work has a domino effect in every aspect of your life. So, amazing connection with spirit and expansion of spiritual gifts because of all the work that you're doing. Life is like a video game. It truly is. You come up with something, you're facing something and it's not a cement wall. It's made of sand. And when you acknowledge it and you flow with it, and it just comes right down and you charge right through, and there's amazingness on the other side of that. Your gifts grow because your frequency is raising. You're able to release the lower vibrational dark parts so we can hold more light. Always remember there's no one person over the other, ever. Oh, your frequency is higher than mine. That's okay. I celebrate you. And I celebrate me. So again, it's a symbiotic relationship. I was given words, which was a new thing. Last year, the end of last year, when I got through the dark night of the soul, the word my guides gave me was surrender. all about surrender. Before that, it was trust. And it was surrender. You want to know the word that's now that they told me just maybe a month ago? Embodiment. So please understand how amazing you are and how valid your emotions are. And there's nothing so horrible that you just can't look at, because I shared something very private about the jealousy because that made me clam up. And I actually said last night when I was typing things out, and I'm like, oh, are you going to have me share that? And there was a very clear crickets sound. And I was like, yeah, you're going to have me share it. So today I'm like, am I going to share it? And that's when I tapped in again, like, do I really share it? And I got a yes. It's never a forceful, but it would be helpful so people can see where you're coming from. So honor those emotions that are coming through. Sometimes we have to sit with them and your skin will crawl and you'll want to get away. What do I do? How do I navigate it? How do I self-care? What, allow your inner compass to just take you where you need to go. So spiritual gifts will really expand. Sorry, go for it.
I was just going to say how important it is for all of us to honor our feelings, our emotions when we are going through a dark night of soul, or when we're not, even when it's just regular life, right?
Yeah.
And I'm being called to share just really quickly something that happened last night. So I've been going through this dark night of soul for a month. It's it is what it is. But last night or yesterday, I was at the point where I questioning, like, is there a God? Is there a source? Is there a creator? Like, is anybody there? Kind of thing, right? And as I was asking this question, I felt in my chest. I mean, it's hard to describe, but it wasn't like a heart palpitation. I know what that is. It was not heart murmur. I know what that is. But this was more like a drilling in my chest, like a drilling or a jackhammer in my chest. And basically the answer was yes, absolutely. And I'm like, okay, fine. Okay. It's like, I got the message. So when I said, okay, that's when it stopped. Because it's like, okay, yes, okay, fine. Yes, yes, yes. And then I had my eyes closed and everything. And like my whole internal vision filled up with light, as an acknowledgement or validation or confirmation of, yes. And so it's like, okay, fine. So then, so then last night I was again having a conversation, and I was talking about value or worth. It's like, if I'm a part of creator, source, etc., I'm a part of, or I'm a fractal of, or everything that's in me is in source, everything that's in source is in me. So I have value or worth just as I am. It doesn't matter what I do or what I don't do. I have value or worth because I am an expression of source. And then I heard a knock on my wall. So sometimes when I get confirmation from my guides, my walls start knocking, So it's like, okay, got it. Thank you. Right. So these types of questions sometimes we have. And I think it's important to ask those questions and then be willing to receive the insights and the messages from the guides and source, and then say yes. It's like, okay, fine, yes, I got it, thank you. And so it was interesting. I'm so I've already, since yesterday, I already feel different, but I'm not quite through yet, but things have already started changing. And so I just want everyone to know that sometimes you might have those types of feelings, you might have those doubts coming up, right? And it's okay, but don't keep them inside. Ask. And so I didn't realize I was asking. I was just like in my head, right? But I was asking, God, are you there? Right? Like, where are you? Because my guides have been silent for a while, right? For me. they'll come through for other people, but they're silent for me. So it's I just wanted to, because that's it's a very vulnerable thing when you're supposed to be a healer, teacher, podcast host. You're supposed to have it all together, and know everything that's going on. But sometimes we have those doubts, and it's okay, because if
Yes.
you ask, you'll get the answer, and the answer is usually yes, right?
Yeah. And like you said, we all go through it. Alara is this amazing, like you said, you're a channel, you're a healer, and all of these things that you do and this beautiful frequency of light that you are, we still go through this because we have lessons and things that we're meant to go through and learn and understand. And the more we share this and use our throat chakra, to let others know that it's okay. This does happen. It is such a relief to know, oh, you've been through this. Oh my gosh, someone like Alara has been through this. Okay, I feel so much better. I kind of feel a little bummed that you can have more than one dark night of the soul, but at least I know how to navigate it, because it's the radio silence. When you're such a channel, and I live open. A lot of people, it's especially if you're starting this journey, you want to have protection and boundaries and state when you open, close things up. I am open all the time in a very protected, sovereign way with a lot of boundaries. So I'm able to just flow, again, symbiotic relationship. So going through the dark night of the soul, I felt abandoned. And it was understanding, no, it's my guides teaching the hardest lesson. How do you pick yourself up? What do you need to look at? You need to look at it. And once you acknowledge something, or I told a friend, I should have talked to her. If I talked to her like within a week, would that have been it? So, like, if you
Who
asked
knows?
the question earlier, that's where my brain goes. Would I have
Yeah,
been done with this sooner, or something like that? But it's
yeah,
something we do
I
all
agree.
go through in our own way.
And you know what I found interesting too was yesterday. So a month ago, when I was really going through it, I had messaged one of my mentors, teachers, but he only just saw the message yesterday. And so yesterday, he sent me a message and he said, book a session with me, right? So then I booked in the calendar, and then things have already started shifting and changing because I, booked the session, or because he already started working with me. And it's like I'm so grateful, because I know I'm so supported. I know I have uh so much support, etc. But still, even with so much freaking support, still we go through it. You know, I mean, I have no reason to question, is there a God? I have no reason to question that, because I have experience of it. But still, you
Yes,
know, it
yes.
happens.
When I had my near death experience, I was flying high on such amazing vibes for 4 months. And then it was like, and I was like, take me back. I went through it, take me back, that type of thing. And then I felt guilty for feeling that way, because I was just going through so much stuff. But I did say before coming back, Kristen's coming back and we're gonna make it amazing. Well, they did not disappoint. So to have like Kundalini awakening, Dark Night of the Soul, all these different things happen in like a 6-month chunk of time. Seriously. There are other words I wanted to say there, but I won't. Fill in the
Yeah,
blank.
yeah. This is the family show. No,
Yeah. But okay.
anyways.
So
um,
with
yeah.
that,
So
ready
I
for
just
the
want to take a moment,
meditation.
because yeah. So before we do that, I just want to take a moment to talk about the special offer. It's really simple. Only take a only take a second, but it is part of the show, where I'm going to share my screen. Basically, it's a personal session reading thing with Kristen. Um, it's a 1 hour personal reading session. So we already know how uh on point Kristen is. She's always communicating with her guides. She's always receiving information. you know, I know so many of you have already had personal session readings with Kristen. I see some of you, and I know you have because, and I have as well. So I know how clear the information is. So, anything you want to add about your personal session with you, Kristen?
Yes, the session is all about you. So this session is if you need assistance with your spiritual gifts or life circumstances, whatever it is, and if you have specific questions or just allowing whatever's in your highest good to come through at that time. Sometimes healings and activations come through in the session too, and I do it all for this. So normally I have different sessions, one for spiritual activations and all of that, but this is all in one. If you would like. So anything you'd like to go over and just specifically channeling for you, whatever comes through in your highest good in that moment in time. And it's recorded, so you can reflect back upon it, which is very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is 111. There's a payment plan available. And if you're an Inner Circle member, use your gift code as well. And of course, there's some beautiful testimonials, feedback from folks on the page who have worked with Kristen in the past. So you can check those out as well. Okay. So again, 1 hour personal reading session with Kristen recorded. And it's whatever is coming up for you, whatever is for your highest good, 111. And again, if you're an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code. Okay. So thank you. Thank you. Awesome. All right. So so now we're going to do an activation clearing meditation thing.
Yes, let's do the thing.
Let's do the thing.
So
I think we're all looking
let's
forward
do
to
the
it.
thing. So I want to show you. So I'm going to pick up my computer because I want to show you something that they were very specific in having me do. I'll talk more about it when we begin the meditation as to what this is, but it also includes Jesus coming forward. So this is a copper butterfly. So they were very specific with the conduit of copper. My Lemurian crystals, I have 4 of them, and they're on either side, and it's a cup of water. So the stones, the crystals, are touching the cup of water. Can you see right there? The cup of water, the stones, and the crystals all around it. And using the intention to bring forward that energy. So with that, let's go ahead and close our eyes. And when you close your eyes, take an assessment of how you feel in this moment. Do you feel calm? Do you feel peaceful? Do you feel antsy? No judgment, just how do you feel in this moment? Now we're going to breathe in light, life force, God, whatever you want to call it, this beautiful energy. Breathe it in to your heart space. And when you breathe out everything that doesn't serve you. So breathe in that light to your heart space. And that heart is just lighting up, and breathe out. When you breathe out, let out a sigh to let the guides know. Release that energy. Bring in again to the heart. Release out. Now when you breathe in light, breathe it into your third eye between the brow. Breathe it into your third eye. Breathe out everything else. Notice the energy shift. Breathe in. And one more time at your own pace. Breathe in. Breathe out. In this moment, whether you can feel it, see it, know it, you're in a beautiful space. Maybe it's a forest, maybe it's a lake, but you see this body of water, a small pool, a lake, a stream, and you're being ushered and invited over to this body of water. I call forward Archangels Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, and Raphael of the 4 directions to fully surround us. I call upon Archangel Sandalphon of the below space and Archangel Metatron of the above space, forming the 2 triangles up and down, the Merkaba, to fully surround in divine protection. With the angelic beings close, I call forward Jesus, because this body of water is Bethesda, the healing pool. Deep into your heart, if you know something that you wish to heal, go ahead and state that within your being now. Or you can leave it wide open to allow your guides to come forward because they know your journey and your heart, what's weighing on you, or what you're looking to activate, and allowing them to bring forth the healing, the activations, in perfect comfort and alignment for your journey. Remember to breathe. I'm going to turn on my Kundalini Reiki. Calling the seraphim forward, the angelic hierarchy, and with the Reiki on, as you're in this water, able to lay down totally comfortable. The water is the perfect temperature. Just going through each chakra, starting at the crown, starting above the crown, soul star chakra. So as I'm doing these energy healings, there might be some messages for you. If it resonates, wonderful. If not, that's okay. But I was told, and I see a Merkaba in my mind's eye, to go above into the soul star chakra and to remind you that you are not separate from spirit. The block is you, and that's okay. It's learning to overcome that, to know that you are worthy. Going to the crown. The third eye. And they just say, see the unseen. Being told to go down the face and the sinuses to the ears. I feel very aware of like the back of my throat, like post-nasal drip or something there. And the sinuses. Going down to the throat now. Being told, speak what is yours. No judgment. Going to the shoulders. They just said elbow. And they show me the muscular skeletal of the hands. Just clearing all of that. Going to the heart. The solar plexus. The sacral. And the root. Being shown the hips, mobility. a feeling of release going down the legs. It's interesting because it's like they're showing me a prosthetic in the leg. And now pouring down the crown, above the crown, this beautiful light from Source, balancing the soul star, the crown, the third eye, going down the body like beautiful water, each cell effervescent, plump, with this beautiful light and energy, down the arms, the hands, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, the root, down the legs. With gratitude for the Kundalini Reiki, I now turn on Rahani Celestial Healing with light language that's coming through. And light language is something that the heart understands, that the ego mind usually does not. So just notice how you feel. I just keep hearing Bethesda repeated, which is that healing pool that you are in with Jesus forward. White eagle. Right at the heart space and expanding this light. This beautiful bubble of pink frequency surrounding your being, pulsating through your being. Nai hasaka oasi na shuisaka a no wai hi na ukisi ana a ayash napatika usiptik ind amta a no shuisi i ke ai ta osat. Sai kuishu tui kuasata at. Never alone. About stepping into your true authentic self. When you're your true self, you step further into your purpose, into soul tribe, heart tribe. A lot of energy coming out the front of the heart chakra, going back around to the back of the heart chakra, and a Taurus energy, and back out the back of the heart chakra to the front, going in. This beautiful toroidal field surrounding your being, coming in and out through the heart chakra. Taking good breaths. With gratitude to the Rahani angels and frequency, I turn on rainbow light cord. This beautiful rainbow cord coming down straight through your meridian, through the crown, straight through the center of your chakras, going straight into the heart of Mother Gaia. The frequencies pulsating through your meridian, linked with God, with Mother Gaia, beautiful divine masculine and feminine, this beautiful pearlescent light filling you, all around you in your auric field. A lot of Egypt coming up all of a sudden. Past lives, alternate lives. Clearing my throat. Speaking your truths, but also understanding that overspeaking is also not in balance with the throat chakra. Allowing others to set forth their path and journey. You can lead them to water, but you cannot force them to drink. A lot in the crown, the third eye. Tones and more light language coming through. Saat nahiva asata sa naino o nasana aiko osanda sata atakasit. Going back and forth between the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root. Your creativity, your spark, your home, your foundation, the part that truly connects us with this earth. Integrating the heart and mind. This beautiful flow. Hands on your shoulders. The weight of the world, you don't have to carry it. Learn when to ask for help. Taking a few good breaths. As Jesus takes a cupful in his hands of this water and just pours it across your forehead. And in your heart. And as you take some good breaths, say to yourself in your mind, I love myself. I trust myself. I value myself. I honor myself. I am. And something that Jesus had said to me before I came back into my body after my near-death experience, touching my heart space and saying, I am, you are, we are. always connected, always worthy, always loved, always loved. We're created from love. And breathe. And as you breathe, just move your head, your fingers, your feet. You can rock side to side as you come back into body. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you. That was that's a lot happening. It was a lot happening. Thank you. Uh, how's everyone doing? Definitely drink something.
Yes, a lot of water. Notice what comes up. So they're actually showing me 3 days. So including today, yes, including today, 3 days for this energy to integrate within your being. Because there were 3 different healing modalities used. And notice, because there's no one healing modality that is better than the other. It's whatever frequency your being needs at that given point in time. So maybe you feel nothing right now. Maybe you feel the Rahani more. And if you watch this again, maybe it's the Kundalini Reiki or the Rainbow Light Course. So just noticing what your being needs. And Alara's yawning, and that's exactly how I feel. So either you feel like you want to take a nap like I do,
Oh,
you're welcome, or you're the
yeah.
Energizer Bunny.
So I could definitely take a nap. Oh, I have to say,
Good.
the rainbow cord, I really felt that strongly in my heart chakra for sure.
Really, that's
Definitely felt that
interesting.
strongly. Remember, even before you said that it was going down, blah blah blah. It's like as soon as you said rainbow cord, I felt my whole heart open up.
Wow.
Oh,
And there's something I want to say about that too. So Kundalini Reiki, I was attuned to Rahani Celestial Healing, I was attuned to a couple of years before my near-death experience. This energy was coming forward. Oh, your dog Jan is so adorable. But I was starting to get this new healing modality coming through. I didn't understand it. I was sloppy when using it, and they said just kind of use it and move with it. And before coming back to this earth plane, I was told God said, "I'm going to infuse you with this rainbow light cord." So again, ego integration and learning how to trust yourself and not needing outward validation. I know what I was given, and I had to trust myself because old Kristen would have been like, I wasn't given this. You know, you talk yourself out of all of these things. I invite you, which brings up emotion. I invite you to see the magical being that you are. All of you are having beautiful experiences that you might be writing off and not trusting yourself. And I'm asking you to honor that and flow with it. And the more you do that, the more comes with it. I had to stumble through this modality that was like, okay, I know I was given something. And then Jesus came forward and kept telling me Bethesda and all this other stuff. So there's something else growing with that. So trust yourself. Because if I didn't trust myself, I wouldn't have used Rainbow Light Cord and wouldn't have been received by Alara, like that type of thing. Don't dim your light because your light is really wanting to be seen.
beautiful. I love that. Yeah, and it's like, when I'm channeling and doing healing and whatever, don't even know. It's like, all right, let's do this. Let's bring it through, whatever. And so it's just trusting my guides in that moment and trusting the flow of energies coming through and the frequencies coming through that are going to be for the highest good of all. Right? It's not my agenda. I have no say in this. It's like it's what the guides and source creator want to bring through for everyone that is going to help. I just want to address one quick little thing. I just Gurjeet had written in the chat, and this is no judgment, but I want to just make this clear. Gurjeet says, when your time is good, then help arrives from all sides. I have to disagree with that. It's not just when your time is good. The help is always there, but sometimes we get in our own way and are not able to receive it. Right. So, like the past month, whatever, when I was receiving healing for sure from, because I had sessions and did work, etc., but I wasn't receiving messages per se, right? But help is always available all the time, but it's up to us to ask for it sometimes, to get out of our own way and be willing to receive and ask for it. But sometimes it does feel like there's no help anywhere. I totally get that, Gurjeet. So I want to honor you for that. But when sometimes it does not feel like there's any help anywhere, but it always is there, right? But and then when the time is good, yeah, you definitely see it and sense it and feel it and receive it much more easily. But it's on those times when you're going through the dark night of the soul, or just challenges in your life, challenging times, when it sometimes feels like there's no help, but there always is. Kristen, did you want to say anything about that, or does your team want to address that for a second?
What are the words? 100% with what you said. It's asking the questions. It's allowing it. It's always there. Again, symbiotic relationship. This energy is always there at the ready for us, but we have to be willing to listen. Because you know how sometimes you can ask a question and you're like, and sometimes I'll be pulling cards or channeling, and I know one of my neighbors, she's like, I want a reading, but I don't want a reading. Like, I don't want to know, because you can get afraid of what the answer might be. And when it's something, especially that we fear or we worry about. So perfect comfort
Yeah,
and alignment. It will come through when you're ready,
yeah. And
but
and
it's
Tina
always
says,
there.
help is always there. It sometimes may not be the help that you think it should be. Absolutely. For
Yes,
sure.
thank you for
Absolutely.
reading that, Tina. Yes. Yes, sometimes we think we know what it is, right? But the kicker is, wow, I didn't know. I didn't know I needed that dark night of the soul. Would I want to go through it again? No, but probably yes, because it was really profound, right? So
Yeah,
yes, thank you for
exactly.
putting that. Yes.
Yeah. So everyone is, well, not everyone. A lot of people are feeling sleepy, feeling tired, like they could take a nap, right? Absolutely.
Yes.
And Julie is saying, my hands and legs are buzzing. So she might be the Energizer Bunny, but the rest of us are like,
Yes.
just want to take a nap, just want to rest. Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
beautiful.
Honor
Thank you.
that. Honor that. Yes.
Yeah. And of course,
Again, make sure that you're drinking a lot of water.
yeah, and as Kristen said, the energies, healing, etc., is going to continue to flow for up to 3 days, right? So continue to be aware, continue to receive, right? See what comes up as well for you. Um, any last words of wisdom? I did already ask that.
I don't remember, but notice again, like Alara said, anything that comes up in the next 3 days, including today, mindfulness, practice the mindfultations, being present in the moment. So, you know how they talk about, and the guides are saying this, and I actually looked this up, and this is true, because everything you read on the internet is true, right? Just kidding. But the Nadi Shodhana, the alternating nasal breaths. Do you know that the human body, when we're breathing, yes, both nostrils, but there's a dominant nostril that's taking in a majority of the breath and it alternates.
Yes.
So interesting, because when I think I had COVID like a week or so ago, and I'm going, please let me be okay to, I had some sessions and the Alara show, and it went away. But when I was breathing out of the one golden nostril I had the grace of having during this journey, I, of course, wasn't doing the Nadi Shodhana breathing because I couldn't, but you can mindfully do it if that's something that's difficult for you. For some reason, they're bringing that through. Your mindfulness, whatever you think and feel and resonates with you, is what it is. You can go outside and pick up a stone or a rock, and if it holds some kind of value that you place on it that helps you with something, this is going to help me be more mindful. And there's a dragonfly that just landed right outside my windowsill right here. Interesting, because I actually have my
That's a
dragonfly
sign.
right here. That's a big sign. That's
Yeah.
a big sign. So mindfulness, trust your gut and what's flowing through you, because this wisdom, this inner compass, this wisdom from this beautiful relationship, mind, body, spirit, you already have it. You already know it. Trust yourself. Some days are better than others. Other days I'm like, ugh, am I even good at this? And then other days it's like, why would I think that? Right? Just like Alara said, is there a God? Yes, we know that there is, but some days we're just, and it's okay. Give yourself grace each day. It gets better. They call it the median way, right? Where when you're on this journey, there's no pendulum swing that's so extreme to one side or the other, right? So when I started this journey, it was like really happy, and then I would get really sad, like that kind of thing. When you're on this journey, you wind up becoming the center of a hurricane, and there's a calmness, a neutrality that forms. I felt the need to say that as well, because all of us are on different journeys, right? So I can feel, don't worry about the pendulum swing. Energy is never stagnant, it will always flow. Ask the questions to be able to resolve, to bring yourself back to a more neutral state. If that makes sense for someone, just let me know.
Yep, absolutely. I love that. Always come back to center, come back to neutral the best you can. And sometimes we are going to feel different emotions from one end of the spectrum to the other. But if you can come back to center, it'll help for sure. Yeah, good, good, good. The other thing I was going to say is there was so much wisdom on the call today, and of course the process that we just did. But when I send out the recording in a little while, go back and watch and listen for all the wisdom, because sometimes I feel like sometimes you need to listen to it one or two more times because there was just so much. And then of course go through the process again. If not today, then maybe tomorrow or the next day. Right? Give yourself that grace and time to integrate the healing that we just did today, right? The activation that we did today. Give yourself time and grace to actually integrate that as well, and know that all is well. I know I sometimes like, really, yeah, I don't always feel it, but you know what? In the long run, eventually everything is fine. It's all good. Right? But we're just going through our human emotions sometimes. And if you can remember that, okay, I'm just going through a phase, this too shall pass. And that is my favorite saying of all, this too shall pass, because it always does, it always will. But how can you get through it with more grace and ease, right? So stay connected, stay in communication with your guides and team, even if you don't get an answer back, right? But keep talking to them, even if you're complaining to them, that's still communication, they're listening. And it'll be okay. So thank you, Kristen, and thank you everybody for being here with us today. Thank you for all your comments and feedback in the chat. It was wonderful. And again, Kristen, it's the wisdom was amazing, and I love how you had like at least two totem symbols today: the owl and now the
The
dragonfly. Right, and
yeah.
dragonfly is all about transformation. Right, people think butterfly is about transformation. Yes, but dragonfly for me is even more so. That's deep
Yes.
transformation, right?
Yes.
And of course, owls, wisdom, right? So beautiful synchronicities, right? So exactly what we needed. So thank you. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
all of that with all of us. Again, I will have the recordings out in a little while. And of course, please do book your session with Kristen so you can get your own personal reading, information, guidance, channeling from your team to help you move forward and help you in your transformation as well. right, of embodiment. I love how Kristen talked about surrender, trust, and embodiment. That's why we are here, right, for the embodiment, for sure. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, thank you. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Bye for now.
Thanks, ladies. Bye.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you, Alara. Good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, good
Take
to see you
care.
too. It was wonderful. Thank you. Bye, everyone.